Thank you so much for being with us tonight on OpenLine. Certainly a topic that we can all relate to tonight, talking about COVID-19. We have Dr. Spyros Kalams with us from Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We are so grateful for your time because I know it's been a busy last 2 years for you, and it's not like this is completely out of the woods as we've been talking about tonight. Just wanted to get your perspective on, when it comes to what comes next, and people are trying to find, obviously people are going to be curious out there. When people are looking for scientific, fact-based information, in addition to your local news sources, where are some additional resources that people can look?
I know. I struggle with this to tell people because I know where I go. And so if people want to not be too intimidated, I mean, I think that I know that the CDC takes a lot of flack, but the CDC does have a nice boiled down version of the facts on their website. I find it reliable. That's one place people can go. I think if people want to understand how to tackle some of the scientific literature, you can go on some place called PubMed. I go on PubMed, P-U-B-M-E-D. It's just an NIH website, and you can search for COVID vaccine. Now, you'll get some technical papers there, but you will see the published literature. And, if you look at the abstract of some of these articles and some peer review, you can look this up. And now it'll pull up a lot of stuff, and it can be intimidating. But I certainly think that the CDC website is a very reasonable place to go. I think you can go on the NIH website and look. They have a big button that says COVID-19, and they'll say 4 patients, and they will boil down this information. I think as we joke in the medical community because we talk about the Journal of the New York Times. I mean, even though you can go on the front page of the New York Times, all that is free, and they have very nice statistics that they've boiled down just from real sites. So it's very easy graphs, and they had a wonderful summary of all of the changes from alpha, beta to Omicron and what it is in the virus. And we put a link on it because it was a pretty impressive piece of scientific work. So those are just some, off the top of my head. Again, I know where I go, but I look at all of those sites as well. And a lot of them are perfectly suitable for lay people. You don't have to be in the medical community because I think we're all trying to be educators here. We're not trying to, be on some, ivory tower. I mean, I got the shot. I want my mom to get the shot, my brother, my family, and we have family members too, right? So we have to talk in plain English and what it means to get vaccinated. So.
Absolutely. I think
that's my answer for you.
Those are all great resources.
Yeah.
If you didn't join us at the beginning of the show, we talked about how you played a rather fascinating role in the development of Moderna. For one, I'm just curious, when you're I'm sure you were very busy with work at the time, but if you had any time to kind of look back and think about what a monumental effort you were a part of.
Well, so ever since that happened, we've had a weekly call. It's actually gone to every other week now because it's more wrap up, and we're trying to but we still try to keep abreast of all of the literature because there are several vaccines out there. So we try to, okay, there's an AstraZeneca vaccine. What are the side effects from that? And is it working as well? And what are we going to do? But yeah, I mean, on those calls, there were 500 people on those Zoom calls every week. And we would just check in with all of the sites that were doing all of these simultaneous vaccine trials. So yes, I was involved with Moderna. And I was involved with the testing of Moderna. Several other people at Vanderbilt had some pretty strong links. There's a doctor named Mark Dennison who helped get the sequence together, and a former Vanderbilt alum, Dr. Barney Graham, who was at Vanderbilt and moved over to the Vaccine Research Center at the NIH, helped design what was going to go into the Moderna vaccine. So even through the trial, we couldn't believe we got it up so rapidly, and then when the results came in, again, the reason we got the results so quickly was because there was so much illness. When you have a lot of cases, it really can tell you whether the vaccine works very quickly. That's just math. I mean, the more cases you have, the more rapidly you're able to say, hey, this really worked. And that's where we even changed the trial. We said, okay, this vaccine works. Now we're going to offer it to everybody, right? We had a placebo group, rapidly did that. Then we had all of these people that were just, our participants were fantastic. And our retention rate, the people that stayed in the trial was, like, I don't know, it was like 95. These people were so great, but we interacted with them a lot. And then we put a booster shot into it, so we're getting data there. So yeah, every day we just say, wow, this is the way you really should do a vaccine trial, you know, make it rapid. And it is going to, I think it's going to advance vaccine research in other areas. You know, I think we're going to think about different ways to make flu vaccines. HIV, you know, I like to, it's not a joke, I joke about it, but SARS-CoV-2 is child's play compared to HIV. We don't have an HIV vaccine yet. So just because the virus changes so much more rapidly. So all of these changes you see in SARS-CoV look impressive. HIV is 100, again, orders of magnitude, 10, 100 times more able to change its coat and how it binds to a cell. But some of these technology with the RNA vaccines will definitely be, you know, integrated. So it's going to change the science behind vaccines, I think in some profound ways. So I'm very enthusiastic to see what comes next.
Sure. We have about 1:15 left or so. So just some final thoughts. If people are watching, what is kind of the next, you know, few months you think in the pandemic look like?
I still think it's a lot of the same basic broken record things. If you haven't been vaccinated yet, please get your shot. We're certainly, you know, getting up there into the number of people that have been vaccinated. And I still think just, you know, watching and looking at the evolution of the virus, but, you know, get your shot, and if you haven't, or if you're immune compromised, wear your mask. That still is a valid thing for individual people. And again, if you're willing to take the mask mandates off, you have to be willing to put them back on, and just be okay with that. Don't fight it. You know, we're not doing it to punish anybody. We're doing it to prevent an illness.
Sure,
So
absolutely. And flexibility has been the name of the game the last 2 years. It sounds like that is one aspect that's going to have to stick around, right?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Spyros Kalams, thank you so much for spending time with us, and thank you so much for what you've done for our community and infectious disease over the last 2 years.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. We will have a few final thoughts when we come back.